The following ad read is not sped up, but I'm taking this steroid for an allergic reaction I got, and it's really making me talk fast. I kind of feel like I can do anything, like anything. I might try and lift a car. I can definitely lift a car. At least one of those small cars, maybe not a truck, but those cars that fit in the spaces that say compact car only on the ground. Come to think of it, this is the same feeling I get when I eat sugary cereals with all the junk in it. Oh yeah, this is fun. Man, I'm gonna crash. Cereal can taste good and be healthy and not make you a jitterbug like me. Jitterbug, that's a funny word. How about some Magic Spoon? Check the stats on this cereal. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs, and 140 calories a serving. Only 140 calories. It's keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, and low carb. And you can build your own box. Available flavors to build your very own custom bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and maple waffle. Cookies and cream and maple waffle were first introduced for a limited time, but now they're back permanently because they sold out extremely quickly. So fast, you don't want to talk as fast as this. Go get yourself some cookies and cream and maple waffle today. Magic Spoon is healthy and delicious, perfect for a guiltless midnight snack. Go to magicspoon.com/nodunks to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code NODUNKS at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/nodunks and use the code NODUNKS to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode.
Went to a Christmas show. Look at the crowd. I think I was the only.
Man, people act like they've never seen a Christmas tree before.
Christmas tree in attendance.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, December 6th. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me today, we got the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Leigh Ellis.
Friends.
Caught you by surprise there, didn't I? We also got boy Trey Kirby.
Heyo.
Hey-o. And of course, last, certainly not least, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Yes, no Tassie today, but don't you worry. He will be back on tomorrow's show. Shout out to the stream team for joining us live here on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe and like and comment and share the show. Email in your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at NoDunksInc. Lots of good stuff going on at the TikToks over at the No Dunks account. And to set up the week for everyone here on a Monday morning, we got No Dunks Daily, Monday through Friday, live at 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. And we flip that into a podcast. On Tuesday, Trey, we got a brand new No Breaks F1 podcast coming at you. That race was so wild yesterday, and the drivers' standings are so damn close that TK and Graydon, they can't wait to talk about it. So this is like a surprise No Breaks tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Is that the play here, Trey?
100% Skeets. Unprecedented times in the Formula One world. For the first time ever, 2 drivers are tied going into the last race. So it literally comes down to Sunday who wins the championship. Verstappen and Hamilton tied up top. And as we saw yesterday, so much drama between these two. Oh, a brake check in Formula One? What is this? I-85? Oh! Tune in tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a supercharged edition, which means it'll be a little bit shorter because we got stuff to do tomorrow.
Okay, I love it. So Trey Kirby, Graydon Gordian, talking about the race from this past weekend, looking ahead to the final race, like he said, on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube right here in the No Dunks YouTube feed, and of course into our podcast feeds as well. On Wednesday, just keep your eyes peeled for a new Top Shot Hot Boys. All right. TK and I have some packs we got to rip. We got some moms we got to give away. So we'll let you know as we get a little closer to Wednesday what time we're thinking about doing that stream. And then on Thursday, we'll have the penultimate episode of No Buffs our Survivor podcast that has its own YouTube, Apple, and Spotify feeds. And we're also trying to figure out the timing on that one. Is that right, JD? Because you're going to be Mr. Mom here for the next couple of weeks, because I know Rachel is headed home to Canada earlier than you. So we'll have to figure out that schedule with no buffs.
Single dad mode over here, so there's going to be a lot of juggling. Schedule is packed. You should see my schedule. My Google schedule is completely, it's multicolored. It's a mess, really. So yeah, I don't know what we're going to do.
We'll figure it out. There will be a no buffs. Don't you worry.
Oh, yeah.
With Jason Concepcion later this week. Okay, but it's Monday here, Leigh. We got winners and losers of the NBA weekend, so lots to talk about. Trey, why don't you get us started here this morning with your winner of the weekend? I know we have a couple each, but who do you have first?
Yeah, my winners of the weekend are two teams on very surprising win streaks. We've got the Grizzlies. They beat the Mavs on Saturday night. That was their fourth straight win. All of them without Ja Morant. That's impressive. But we've also got the Rockets, the Houston Rockets, who won on Friday and Sunday to push their win streak to a currently NBA best 6 games. The Houston Rockets. Let's start with them. According to Elias, they're the first team to win 6 straight games immediately after a losing streak of 15 or more. And honestly, I wish Tass was here, because Eric Gordon came up clutch on Friday. Longtime listeners will remember that Eric Gordon once led the league in fourth quarter scoring early in his career for the Los Angeles Clippers. It's one of those stats that just happened to come up so many times during the season. He only had 4 points in the fourth quarter of Houston's win on Friday night, but it was the most important 4. He put the Rockets up with a jumper, about 30 seconds left. The Magic came back, got a Mo Bamba dunk to tie it up. Then Eric Gordon hit the game-winning floater with a second left. That's a guy that people should be looking at as a potential trade candidate coming up to the trade deadline here in February. Garrison Matthews was also huge in this one. 16 points, 2 massive dunks off steals. He had 10 points in the fourth quarter, 3 threes, including a 4-point play where he made the free throw. Hate to say it, he's got that Grayson Allen swag out there. Got a new tattoo, got a new haircut. He's looking tough. On Sunday, the Rockets beat the Pelicans for their 6th straight win, and this one was all about Christian Wood. 23 points for Wood. He hit 5 threes. He's turned it around a little bit after a slow and kind of soft start. Playing a little bit better. Eric Gordon, another good game. 23 points, 3 threes. And my boy Garrison Matthews came up clutch again. 13 points, 4 threes. And I'm not joking. The announcers were calling him Gary Bird during this game. What a line, Gary Bird. Very funny. 6 straight wins, though, for the Rockets, and the key has been three-point shooting. They've made 15 or more threes in all 6 of these wins. They've only done that 9 times all season. 7-2 in those games. Math, it gives you a chance. Rockets, huge winners for the weekend. As for the Grizzlies, not as much to say. They beat the Mavs on Sunday. No Doncic, no Porzingis, but no Ja for the Grizz. Did not matter. Grizzlies held the Mavs to 33% shooting from the floor. Desmond Bane went for a career-high 29 points. He hit 4 threes, and I think he hit the same layup, pump faking from the corner and driving into the middle of the lane. He must have made that at least 4 times as well. Career-high 9 boards. He's been awesome with Ja Morant out of the lineup, and so have the Grizzlies. 4 straight wins. They haven't trailed yet in these 4 wins. That's the amazing thing. According to Elias, I was calling him up all weekend.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Hey, Elias, can you check the stat for me? Yeah, exactly. Memphis, the first team in 25 seasons of the statistic being tracked to lead at least 4 consecutive games without even being tied after 0-0. That's wild
crazy
stuff. Yeah. They're up to 13-10, 4th in the West. They got a nice little homestand coming up. They play in Miami tonight. Then it's Dallas, the Lakers, the Rockets, and the 76ers. Rockets versus Grizzlies. This could be the biggest game in the next 2 weeks. Let's hope these streaks stay up. Both of these teams straight up thriving right now.
This is insane, Lee. I mean, I just realized when Trey was breaking that down, his 2 winners of the weekend being the Rockets and Grizzlies, we could have made this a what you got. Like, what's the crazier win streak? The Grizzlies without Ja Morant and never trailing? Or the Rockets after losing 15 straight, winning 6 consecutive games, and at least one of those wearing those weird Houston Rockets throwback pajamas. That was the Eric Gordon game winner. I believe they were rocking those. Yeah, which one? Which one would you pick?
Well, I have to go with the Rockets because their season was just in the tank. Remember, Steven Silas was basically like there was speculation that he might even get fired.
Yeah,
it was like,
I'm so happy they're winning these games for
Exactly.
him, if anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, again, there's a lot of teams, in the schedule. You're like, okay, they should win this, they should win that. But the Rockets to put strung together 6 straight is incredibly unlikely. Christian Wood was even doing the Michael Jordan 6 like that 6 in a row. So that's just how crazy things are going. But yeah, for that crowd in Houston yesterday, there was nobody there as well. So I think the locals had basically given up on this team. So it's good to see them actually getting win. But the Memphis Grizzlies to do this without Ja Morant, what is actually even more shocking, they had the worst defense in the league when Ja was on that team. Right now, they have, in these last 4 games alone, the best defense rating by a mile in the league right now. It's 90 points, according to NBA.com here. So, and they're not just doing it without Ja Morant. Kyle Anderson was also missing against the Mavericks there. So this is very, very unlikely to see. I thought the Grizzlies season might almost just fall in the tank when Ja went down. Instead, they've actually really solidified their defense. They've improved by 25 points in the defensive rating category, which is just incredible. So great to see there for the Grizzlies. And, no Doncic, no Porzingis. Still, you've got to go out there and just compete. And these are the sort of games a team like the Grizzlies need to win while Ja is out. When he comes back, he's their best player. He's so impactful. Now, you can look at the defensive numbers and think what's the problem there. But obviously, they need Ja back as quickly as possible. So this has been great for them. Great for Taylor Jenkins as well, because I don't think he was on the hot seat, but they needed to improve drastically. And so they've shown some remarkable improvement on those on the defensive end now. I think that's great. But just crazy to see these two teams. The hottest team in the league right now is the Houston Rockets. That is just unbelievable.
This sort of feels like stuff that happens in March, Trey.
Right.
In the dog days of the NBA season. We're still early here, early December for these weird teams that we're struggling or lose a star player and then they rip off these win streaks. It's just I'm all discombobulated.
Yeah, exactly right, Skeets. Eventually, it feels like most teams hit a hot streak, and it usually comes when teams have sort of given up on the season. I see people in the stream team are mentioning the comp that the Rockets have played. They beat the Hornets, they beat the Thunder twice, they beat the Magic, the Pelicans.
Yeah,
not the greatest team, but still, they were the worst team. They have won or lost 15 straight, and now suddenly they can't lose. Jayshawn Tate also is a horseshoe up his ass. This guy's making the craziest layups that I've ever seen. He's not even looking at the hoop when he's throwing it in, but they're going to keep it rolling here. They got the Rockets' next game is against the Nets on Wednesday. W for the Rockets.
Yeah.
Make it 7.
Throw it 7.
Given the
Michael Jordan could never even do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw it up,
right.
Wood. Once you shock the world. You brought up Porzingis there. Both of you guys not playing in that one game against the Grizzlies, I guess it was. Leigh, did you see my tweet this morning? I just wanted to know if you hacked into the NBA YouTube account and titled this video that says Kristaps Porzingis in quotes, beautiful plays this season. What the fuck was going on here? Did you do this, Leigh? I mean, this is how you talk.
Yeah.
And they quoted you, I thought.
I didn't do it, but I think it just proves I'm an influencer, Skeetsy. That, the beautiful players, beautiful shooters of the basketball. It's starting to become part of the vernacular of the NBA world. So I'm going to take full credit for that. I think it's right. Unusual, though, for a guy who's been missing for a couple of games to get a video of beautiful plays.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, why do they call it huge plays in the thumbnail, but beautiful plays in the write-up?
I mean, John Collins had a huge dunk again last night, and that's kind of what we've seen from him throughout the season. So there was a compilation of those.
Yeah,
makes more sense. KP on a bit of a losing streak from the Mavs not playing. Unusual, but content is key.
There's a poor editor going, I just cut together all these beautiful plays. What are we doing with these? He's injured. Yeah, just post it. No one's going to really care. Okay, Leigh, keep us going, man. Who do you have for a winner of the weekend?
Well, it's got to be DeMar DeRozan specifically, but the Chicago Bulls leave New York with a couple of wins, and I think Saturday night was their more impressive victory than it was against the New York Knicks because they came back. And DeMar DeRozan again. Now, we don't have a masterclass ad read, I don't think, today, but he should put it up. I think I've used that joke before, but I'm going to rework it a little bit here
Sure.
because that fourth quarter was just incredible from DeMar again. And I'm going to get into a little bit more here, but not only was he making the big shots, he sized up Kevin Durant at one point, ran straight at him, hit it in his face, got to his spots, did that, led from the front. But also on the key game sealing play, you saw how leadership really takes over. DeRozan could have easily taken that last shot. Instead, he drives inside. The gravity of what he's done in fourth quarters this season and on that night meant that the defense basically collapsed from the Nets on him, and he passed it out to Lonzo Ball, who has not been shooting the ball well, particularly from three. And Lonzo Ball hit that huge moment. One of those situations where DeRozan really, he's talked about trusting his teammates and, like how we're all on the same page. But in that key moment, it's like, do you actually trust your teammate? And he did. And you saw Lonzo Ball, he's a stoic guy. He doesn't smile a lot. He's not very emotive. My God, Lonzo Ball is like he hit the championship winning shot there. He was so happy that he took it. He got that play. He got that moment and then knocked it down. And I think that just shows to me, team building and chemistry and all those things and leadership from DeRozan, who you would not have faulted him if he'd taken that last shot, but instead he makes the right play. And I'm digging a little bit deeper as well because he's been a huge talking point of the fourth quarter this season. Well, the numbers here back it up. He leads the league in points per game in the fourth quarter and in total points, 178 points, 53% from the field, 45% from three, which is actually for him pretty good. He's only taken 11 threes. I mean, that's good for anyone, I should say.
Yeah.
But that's not his strength there. 90% from the free throw line.
That's his strength.
That's absolutely his strength. But also then the plus 69 in total in four quarters. Now, there's other guys ahead of him, Bogdanovic, Steph Curry, in terms of the plus minus. But in terms of the actual game in, game out, DeRozan is leading the league in that category. And again, you saw it. I don't know. Obviously, Trey saw the game there on Saturday night. But, this was another tight, close game. And DeRozan was a different. Zach LaVine had a really good game. In fact, he had a late step back as well. But you kind of forget about everything he did. I think he finished with 31 points because DeRozan in that fourth quarter was just unbelievable. He went at Kevin Durant as well. I talked about the little pull-up he had there. He drove inside, got the and one against him as well. And the Nets and Steve Nash were kind of like, okay, what are we going to do here? How are we going to stop this guy? And it doesn't matter when you've got a guy like DeRozan playing the way he has, closing out games. Great stuff for Chicago. And I think the Bucks are the best team in the East. And I think by virtue of the fact Kevin Durant is on the Nets are the second best. But I think quite clearly now the Bulls are the third best team, which they probably should be higher. But I just think those other two teams are still fractionally higher than them. But incredible weekend there for Chicago.
Yeah, to bring it back to YouTube for a second, I see Sam here in the stream team. DeMar DeRozan, KOT4Q. He's the king of the fourth quarter. Shout out to Kenny Beecham. Maybe DeRozan will have to buy that off Kenny. Make some coin there because he has been amazing. I think still even Zach LaVine has been great in a lot of these games too. They have figured out a way to understand when to take over down the stretch without like being a ball hog. It's like they just have like this weird sense right now of like, you've got a mismatch, you go to work, or I'll go to work. Like it's a great balance right now. And top three, Leigh is saying here, Trey. I saw you smiling in the background. We were on Lee's ISO.
Music to my ears.
You were loving
Skeets.
it. Yeah, they look great.
Look, obviously I'm a homer. No doubt about that. I've been saying the Bulls are back since they weren't back. But at this point, like you hear it on every single podcast, and I am like having to check myself, like how deluded am I to think that the Bulls are a top three team in the Eastern Conference? But Leigh Ellis said it. Wait, hold up. Leigh Ellis said it, so it must be true. I had two questions coming into this. Number one, the Bulls are a top what team in the East? Because I agree, the Bucks are going to be better at the end of the season. They're banged up right now. I do think the Nets are better, but the Bulls have beat them twice. Miami's banged up. Philly's been really up and down. So at the very least, I think they're a top four team. And I think it's quite reasonable for them to expect to have home court advantage in the first round. My other question was going to be, how many duos in the league right now are better than LaVine and DeRozan? I think they've been over 20 points per game, the most of any duos so far this season. They've got two options in the fourth quarter when it really comes down to it. DeRozan, I feel like his getting to the line has kind of rubbed off on LaVine a little bit here. LaVine shot 13 free throws against the Nets. That was huge. So best duos, Steph and Draymond, the best duo in the league by far. Chris Paul and Devin Booker, if they're both healthy, I think you would probably take them. LeBron and AD, playoffs only, to be quite honest, but fair enough. KD and Harden, 2 MVPs. Giannis and another guy. You have your choice of 2 other stars there. And then Mitchell and Gobert, I think, are probably right there with LaVine and DeRozan. But that's a top 10 duo. They've got a good defense, and they've figured out how to close right now. Bulls are looking good. It's early, but I got tickets over the weekend. I'll see you December 26th for a revenge game against the Indiana Pacers.
Oh, wow. You'll be home in the Chicago area, so you'll be going to the game? Okay, what are we talking? How much are Bulls tickets going for nowadays? You got the hookup. Somebody better have hooked you up.
No, I'm going with some bros. Going with a big collection of bros, 8 bros. The bros are back, so we're sitting 300 level and just raging. 117 apiece.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, geez. Isn't that arena's like it's like vertical. Like it feels like you're on top of the action. It feels like you're gonna fall over. Sure. Yeah. Don't spill over the railing there. Okay, so the Bulls are back. That's a great one. I thought the other question you were gonna ask, Trey, maybe it's a little premature, but like DeMar DeRozan, he's going to be starting the All-Star game, right? And I mean, if you made all NBA teams right now, he might be the first team all NBA. Like, I think it's very early for all NBA, but All-Star, Leigh, like,
yes,
so.
No, he's definitely going to be in the All-Star game. I'm not sure he's that sort of most popular guy to get the fan vote to start. I would say. I mean, he's obviously in Chicago.
Bulls, though. Everybody's a Bulls fan.
Yeah. I mean, that certainly gives him a bump. But I feel he's one of those guys that just maybe doesn't get quite that same adulation from the fans because we know that is more like Giannis.
Right. So is he going to get more votes than Luka, even though he's having a better season than Luka?
Right.
Like Curry's a lock. Curry's in.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got all of Canada voting for him because they still love him. He's got the big market in Chicago. And I think there is a part of this where he does feel like the Bulls, I should say, are like everybody's second favorite team right now. Like a lot of people's second favorite team. It's like, it's cool to see them.
DeRozan a forward or a guard are we listing him at?
Wow. I always forget about that. Yeah. That's a great point.
Because that forward.
I was thinking guard.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, a front court, Giannis and Kevin Durant. It's 3 front court, isn't it? You don't need a center, so he can slip in there.
True.
And in the back court, who would you have? I mean, Harden probably gets in, I suppose.
Curry and LaVine, Curry and Caruso. Take your choice.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm talking East All-Stars.
We know.
So
it's he's going to be in the game for sure, and he's going to be an All NBA player if he obviously doesn't get injured. It's just like where he's going to fall. Is he going to be starting or is he going to be first, second, or third team? Because he has been incredible, and it's fun to watch. As of course, as a longtime Raptors fan that loved DeRozan for a long time, and of course, they make the move and get quiet, and it works out for really sort of everyone in the end right now. I'm rooting for him. I'm cheering him on. Like, I would love to see him start the All-Star game or be first team and see the Bulls. Like, I still am convinced, Trey, we are getting Bulls versus Heat, Lowry versus DeRozan in some sort of playoff matchup. Is it first round, 4-5? Is it a second round? I think it's going to happen. It's inevitable, if you ask me.
Honestly, it makes me a little nervous because I remember how much Jimmy Butler used to kill DeMar DeRozan when the tables were turned, but not this year. The Bulls are back.
All right. So, Bulls, winner of the weekend. Love to see it. I'll keep us going here as we wrap up our winners, and then we'll take our first break and get to losers because we got a lot to talk about when it comes to losers of the weekend. But winner of the weekend to the Jazz-Cavs game on a Sunday afternoon. Only 4 games on yesterday. NBA's all afraid of the NFL. I get it. A lot of people like their football, but it was one of those rare sort of Sunday afternoon games, Leigh. And I tweeted it out. I don't know if you saw me. I was watching it because that was the only game on at the time, and I was just kicking it at home. And I'm like, Cavs got back into this game in a hurry. It's tied at 97. There's a lot of time left, 8 minutes to go. If you're into that sort of thing, I hope you were into that sort of thing because it was a really entertaining game. The Cavaliers play a lot of fun games. Now they lose this one, Jazz pull it out, but they are always there. They are a scrappy bunch. I know Tass would be talking for about 10 minutes straight about those scrappy Cleveland Cavaliers and the way they play. And it makes sense because it was so much fun. I think there is a compilation on NBA's YouTube page. If you want to go watch like the final 4 minutes or so, I would encourage you to watch a little bit more than that if you can. Fire it up on your League Pass or something like that. but just big play after big play. And it was so cool. Like these just giant dudes out there, Leigh, blocking shots left and right. Obviously, Rudy Gobert was huge, instrumental in the Jazz win with rebounds, which we'll show you in a second, and blocks and a big dunk actually to put them up late. And then you could say the same about the Cavs and like what Jarrett Allen was doing inside. And Mobley had a huge like help defense block. I think it was on Mitchell attacking inside. I can't remember. Was it Mitchell or Conley? There's just a lot of like fun defense being played down the stretch here. And it was really good. I don't know if you caught that game on Sunday.
I caught the last quarter of that game because it looked like the Jazz were just going to cruise along to a comfortable win. And it was Darius Garland as well. Hit some huge threes. He hit that one that basically came down with snow on it. And it was one I was pulling for the Cavs for sure. I was like, pull this one out. This would be a great victory for them because, you know, they've been good and then they've sort of dropped off and then they come back again. It's like, get a good quality comeback win against a good quality team, but they just fell short. In fact, on that last play, Garland kind of got a little bit lost on it and sort of slipped, and that was it, unfortunately, because it would have been a great victory for them. But yeah, the interesting thing, and someone tweeted as well, Rudy Gobert had a play where if you're a defensive sicko, watch how much ground he covers and how many people he sort of affects by his movement, because sometimes he gets caught on the perimeter. He's a big, tall, gangly guy, but he was all over the place there late, saved the ball. And I think it was Mitchell who came down and scored on the other end for them. A huge, huge play in this game that if the Cavaliers had scored, maybe that's one of those ones that in fact actually does tilt the game back into Cleveland's way. But yeah, this was a fun last quarter afternoon game on a Sunday because the other games weren't all that great. But for the Cavs, it's hard to not have that good feeling about this team because they play hard. They've got some unusual guys. They're getting at least one All-Star. There's no question in my mind just who that player is, whether it's Jarrett Allen or Garland. I don't think they both get in. But, really fun stuff. And felt bad in the end for Darius Garland. He played such a great game, 31 points, but just at the end couldn't quite finish it off.
Yeah, he missed a potential game winner with like 3 seconds to go, but it was like a 30-foot prayer. It actually almost dropped. It wasn't that far off. But he initially had drove inside, like you were saying, Leigh, and he sort of slipped. He sort of stumbled. He also is he might be as light as I am, so you can he got bumped a little bit too, and I think that had an effect on him. They sort of reset, and then he had to put up the prayer on Conley, but it didn't drop. But fun game. I guess Jarrett Allen almost tipped it home too off the miss from Garland. It is a fun game. Before we go to TK, maybe I could have the honor here on a Monday if you don't mind, Trey, because we talked about Rudy Gobert, 15 points. He had 5 blocks, some of them key down the stretch, and he also had 20 rebounds. So JD, roll that beautiful beef footage.
Rudy Gobert had 20 rebounds. Good grief. That's a big beef. That's a lot of roast beef, which is rebounds.
Oh my God, there was blocks in there, TK. What's going on? We're missing some beefs.
Yeah, I like to include those for Rudy Gobert. I don't know if he leads the league in block shots where he then grabs the rebound, a beef Russell, if you will. Great at it. 20 rebounds. That's his 5th big beef of the season. He's leading the league in rebounding right now, and he's also shooting 73% from the field. Rudy Gobert is. That's hilarious. I mean, he's only taking dunks, but that's still like almost 10% from his career high. I would watch Rudy Gobert versus Jarrett Allen one-on-one at the All-Star.
Wow.
That's a great idea.
It would be fun, I think, for, up to 5 maybe. It might take a while, but I'd love to see him spinning and winning down there.
Wasn't his 20th rebound, the big beef rebound, the one that was an offensive board that he then, took basically right back at Jarrett Allen and dunked it on his head with his left hand? I think that was his 20th rebound. I remember watching it live, getting all excited, going, oh yeah, we're going to see that in Monday's show. I mean, what a game. I mean,
100% was. Unfortunately, my beef supplier cuts it off at the rebound. So I saw Rudy going.
Sorry to hear that.
Paused it on him. Yeah. So, aged beef. Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
I just love the Easter eggs when we look at those beefs, like the block rebound. It's like, oh, that they counted that as a rebound as well.
I was actually thinking until you said it, and I was watching that clip, like, why are you blocks? And then I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that is a block rebound. It is, right? So
because it's a shot, it is a shot attempt from the player. So if you block it and grab the rebound, you get 2 stats for one, a special 2 stats for one special there.
So, okay, hold on. Well, answer this question. You rebound sicko. If Leigh attacked me and I'm playing defense and I block Leigh's shot, but it goes to you, Trey, and you're on my team, do you get the rebound and I just get the block, or is it not a rebound then in that case?
My guess is that you would get the block and I would get the rebound.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, because... But that's weird. Those okay, some beef hypotheticals here. Let's imagine that we're all playing together. Skeets, you go up for a shot.
Yep.
I block it. Leigh is on your team. He gets the rebound off the block.
Right.
Is that an
offensive rebound? I don't know the answer to this. I'm not proud to say I don't know.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
We got to get Beef Borgia on here to really talk us through the ins and outs of all these different hypotheticals.
Good comment here from Vinny Rex. LOL, my wife on the phone just now referred to me as currently watching his beef morning show.
Welcome to the Beef Morning Show, where all we talk about is rebounds. That
I
sounds
actually
like
had, on the way to drop the girls off at school this morning, Ada said to me, "Dad, you don't say that's a lot of roast beef anymore." I could not believe she called me out on that. I was like, actually, Ada, I say it a lot. You just have to go to school now. So I record my beefs after you're already there. But don't worry. There's players beefing every single night. Have no fear.
The Beef Morning Show sounds like a similar idea to when I was in Guatemala with my buddy Grish, and we came up with the hit podcast series or television show Looking for Lava, where we just look at volcanoes.
The Beef Morning Show. And Looking for Lava at 6:30 and 7 Eastern.
That's right. So, yeah, again, a great game between the Jazz and the Cavs. And awesome young core here that the Cavs have. I think we could all agree in Garland, in Evan Mobley, and then in Jarrett Allen. And look, and the Jazz trio of Gobert, Mitchell, and Conley, I mean, they are proving that they are just as good as they were last year as well. It's a different trio than what the Cavs have going, because as much as we're talking about Rudy Gobert here, and rightfully so, especially when you watch the final couple of minutes and just the impact he had defensively, they just don't win this game without Donovan Mitchell. And I think this guy, I know I do it, he just gets overlooked. And I'm sure a part of it is the Jazz sort of flaming out in some of the postseasons, him being in Utah. I get all that. But Leigh, this guy goes for 35. And in the fourth quarter, I mean, good luck Ricky Rubio stopping Donovan Mitchell. You better help. You better hope the help defense was coming there, because he would just blow by him. He just is I just don't sometimes think, again, this is me saying this, that I know I'm guilty of it. I don't think we include him sometimes at a guy that's basically like a 24, 25 point per game scorer, what feels like his entire career, in the same vein as some of these other two guards. I don't know. I think the reasons I came up with are probably why, but I don't know if you're guilty of it as well, Leigh.
Yeah, no, but I think as well it is that sort of Utah, the recent couple of seasons, that he has been great in the regular season. He's had some great playoff moments as well, but they have kind of flamed out. So I think with Utah, we just kind of overlook them. We know they're going to be a great regular season team, and they are, again, proving that. But we just want to see them not flame out. I mean, the last two seasons, they've had a 3-1 lead and lost, and they've had a 2-0 lead while the other team's also lost its best player and then also flamed out. So that just sort of becomes a bit of the narrative. I mean, he's a great player. He's going to be an all-star, likely even an all-NBA player himself. But there's also, I guess, when you look at Utah, him and Rudy, two players, very, very different, very impactful, but both kind of get a little bit overlooked in their contributions during the regular season. So That's just the way it is. I mean, he's an exciting player. He had another one of his nice dunks down the lane there. He can hit some big shots, but it's almost a bit like we've seen all this before. We need to see some real, not flaming out in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what it is. People in the stream team saying he can be considered inefficient, which is fair. He goes through funks. Yeah. But that's there's a lot of guys look at Lillard right now. Even Lillard, when he's killing it and dropping 50 per game at times over a stretch, he'll have those funks too, where shoots a bunch of threes, doesn't make a lot of them. I mean, I don't know. It's just he gets lost a little bit. But yeah, I think it's the unfortunately coming up short in the playoffs. Once he goes to a conference finals or a finals, Trey, then then he's suddenly like catapulted right up there, back with the Bookers and back with the, I guess at this point, like your Levines and DeRozans and stuff like that. In terms of the
you're
two
putting
guards.
Levine over Mitchell, and he hasn't even been to the playoffs.
I know that's true.
That's a crazy thing.
We
to say,
talked
though.
about him
You're
way more
right.
than Mitchell. Yeah, this year.
Yeah, I think it's just because Mitchell is almost a given with the Utah Jazz at this point. You're like, he's going to get you 25 points per game. The percentages are going to be good, but maybe not great. He can certainly raise his game in the playoffs, which we've seen having a couple of 50-point games. But there just seems to be a steadiness to the Jazz and a sameness to the Jazz that it kind of just washes over you a little bit, no doubt. And the things that stick out are the things that stick out, right? Like Gobert getting toasted after a pump fake from the corner sticks out a lot more than, another Donovan Mitchell crazy layup in the lane.
Yeah. Final winner of the weekend here. Just a little love to the San Antonio Spurs. They only played one game, but it was a big one lately. They withstood a Warriors rally for the 112-107 victory in the Bay. 4th consecutive win for San Antonio. They have beat the Celtics and Wizards at home and then snapped double-digit home win streaks for the Blazers because they won in Portland. And then now in Golden State, they're beating the Dubs. So, they were wearing their Flint Tropics jerseys there on Saturday, and they got the victory. The Warriors came back a couple times, but they pulled it out in the end. Derek White had a really good game. DeJounte Murray continues to impress. Keldon Johnson helped out. So good win. And I saw a couple Spurs blogs wondering, maybe we are going to get Popovich passing Lenny Wilkins and then Don Nelson's regular season win record by the end of this season. Because after that slow start, it was like, are they going to win enough games? And it's not a given yet. Spurs have won 8 this year. Pop's at 1,318 regular season wins. Wilkins is at 1,332. And then Nelson is at 1,335. So, after they bounce back here with this little win streak, it's definitely in play again with San Antonio.
Yeah, and that was pretty much a bonus win against the Warriors. I think the Warriors had their huge emotional victory on Friday night against the Suns, ending the Suns streak, that it was a bit of a trap game, and because they were down big in that, and it took the Warriors a lot to get back into it. I think they got back within a point or two there in the fourth quarter, but the Spurs hung on. So I honestly hope Pop does it, because if he gets within like 2 wins, does he just say, all right, I'm coming back next season for 5 games to try to do it, or he just says, all right, I had a chance and I didn't do it this season? But there's enough beatable teams that they should get. So what does he need? Is it
if I have my
17?
Yeah.
Is that right? Lock it in.
I have him.
That's
I have
easy.
him
That's
14
easy.
behind. Wilkins. To tie him.
So
and then
15.
Right, 17,
then, he should be able to squeak out 15 wins then for this season. So hopefully, interesting.
Well, he needs more than 15 to pass Don Nelson. I was talking. Lenny Wilkins is right behind Don Nelson.
Yeah. Weird things happen in the coaching game as well. Like the other night when Nate McMillan didn't coach, but the Hawks won. Nate McMillan got credited, I think, with his 600th career victory.
700th, wasn't it?
700th, was it? Yeah. So when Chris Gent took over. So that's the thing with Pop, is he actually will get credit for any win that the Spurs have this season. So, if he misses a game or two and they get a win, they still count. That'd be hilarious if he broke the record in a game that he had to miss for some reason.
Hilarious.
We
would never stop talking. Okay, so that's who we have for winners of the NBA weekend. Let's hear from you guys. I know you're dropping some suggestions in the stream team. Let us know in the YouTube comments. Tweet at us at No Dunks Inc. We're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we'll get to the losers. JD, what do you got, man?
Yeah, this is hot off the presses. We just got some new Stance copy, guys. So literally 2 minutes before the show, Liv, the person who works in ads here at the Athletic, just shot this over, and it's very important we get it in. But I'm looking at it, and there's a lot of rules in it. The first one, personal experience / touch required. Please do not read this unless you have received the product. Well, Stance, I don't know what to tell you. I'm up in the no dunk sock read rotation, and I haven't received anything yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? They probably know, because I said on my last ad read that I subscribed to Stance for a whole year. So I've got 12 pairs of Stance socks. So I've got tons of the product. And frankly, I love it. In fact, I'm wearing my Lucky Raptors black and gold Stance socks right now. Nice. Had them for at least 4 years. They're the most comfortable, durable socks I've ever owned. I was going to set up a sock cam, but then I was afraid Probst would be watching, and we know what a freak he can be. So just to suffice it to say, they're the best socks I've ever owned. And Stance has made gift giving super simple this holiday season. We're doing a Secret Santa here with my family, and I was kind of counting on those freebies, Stance. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm happy to spend my money, and part of the reason we got this last minute ad copy is that Stance is offering a 15% discount on your first purchase using the promo code NODUNK. So it's all worth it. So I'm happy to spend my money. And then here's the actual copy from the ad. Founded in 2009. Stance Apparel represents a radical reinvention of socks, underwear, and active apparel with a sharp focus on comfort, quality, and creativity. Stance brings an atypical aesthetic alongside some of Pop's hottest collaborators for the ultimate in style and self-expression. It's a little wordy there, Stance, but that's fine. It's fine. I'm with you. Because
Got a word for each toe.
Exactly. Exactly. Because everything you should wear should be a direct extension of who you are and how you feel. Wow, it's deep. Stance believes that the perfect fit matters more than fitting in, that those who feel good do good. Go see for yourself. Register for an account at stance.com and get 15% off your first purchase. Use promo code NODUNKS at checkout to apply. Enjoy the color and comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance.
Grammarly, our old friend. It's been a while since I've hit y'all with a fresh Grammarly ad read, maybe since the now legendary Kirk Franklin GP. Are you with me? But guess what, Skeets? I've still been using Grammarly every single day since. That's legit real life usage. Maybe you're searching for the perfect turn of phrase. Just use Grammarly's free double-click synonym feature to search for replacements for the word giving you difficulty. Or is that trouble? Or is that stress? Or is that problems? Or was it actually difficulty that you were thinking of? You can set your audience and desired tone before you start with Grammarly's goals feature. Then just watch as Grammarly makes suggestions as you go. When you're done, Grammarly's built-in tone detector tells you how your message comes across. Grammarly is a straight-up tone arranger, so take the stress out of getting the words right with Grammarly. Right now, you can get 20% off Grammarly Premium at Grammarly.com/NoDunks. That's 20% off at GRAMMARLY.com/NoDunks.
Yeah, like everyone, I have a million photos on my phone that I always think I'll eventually get around to doing something with rather than just scroll through them or, desperately try to find one to upload during a show when someone had said something like the classic muscles in Brussels there last week. Now, Skeetsy, I know you love that sort of stuff, so does JD, but it isn't actually the most effective way to share and play with your photos. Canva Pro, on the other hand, is a design platform that empowers you to create and share stunning content like photos in just a few clicks, which is especially great right now because they've just launched a new product just in time for Christmas, the Photo Book. Now, there are, of course, a ton of other photo book options out there. I have a few, in fact, but Canva Pro will be my next one because it allows you not just to put together your regulation photo book, but one you can really sexy up with a variety of different fonts and elements and layouts and charts and grids, emojis. You can throw emojis in there, which is pretty cool. And if you've ever received one of those photo books from an in-law, there's probably a few photos and a bit of the layout that you would change or, edit, like a few too many of your kids. Let's get some of my kids in there. It's one of those, family photo books here. Well, Canva Pro allows you to work together. So it's a team project, which helps you stay organized on the same page and on top of the file. So there's no more of that tedious back and forth. So you can have a real imprint there on the photo book, not just get it as a present designed by somebody else. Plus, you and 4 teammates can unlock everything Canva Pro has to offer for just $12.99 a month. With Canva Pro's content planner, you'll save time planning, creating, and posting social media content too. And you can pause scheduled posts and edit them at any time. That's what we all like, the ability to sort of think, I want to go back in and tweak something, change something, do whatever. You can do that with Canva Pro. Design like a pro with Canva Pro. Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial. So that'll give you enough time to get all those Christmassy photos together, and you've still got plenty of time to put that album right, especially when you use my promo code. Just go to canva.me/nodunks to get your free 45-day extended trial. That's canva.me/nodunks. Canva.me/nodunks.
Okay, I'll get it started here with losers of the NBA weekend because it's a doozy. The Portland Trail Blazers are a loser of the weekend. Boston destroyed Portland in a game this weekend, 145-117. And the Blazers couldn't, and if we're being honest, haven't all season long figured out a single way to just impact the game defensively that matters, because the Celtics shot 21 for 37 from three. That's 57%. The Celtics also scored 50 points in the paint. That's a decent amount. And, we're not done. They had 29 free throw attempts too. So the Blazers just got hammered every single way imaginable by the Boston Celtics, from the outside, on the inside, and then fouling enough to put them to the line. 145 points, a record for an opponent in the 26-year history of the Moda Center there. And it was enough, Leigh, to push Portland to 30th in the NBA, dead last now in defensive rating. I remember the days when the Portland Trail Blazers were 23rd, 24th ranked defensively. I remember people in the stream team saying, they're improved from last year. They're a better defensive team. Are they? No, they weren't, because they're smack dab last again. We also add on to this, of course, Trey on Friday's Drop podcast. You were telling us, they got to fire Neil O'Shea. That's step one to figuring out what the hell to do. Mere hours after you said that, the news broke. Yep, Neil O'Shea, he's out of here. GM of the Blazers, basketball president of basketball operations. He's out of there. So he is now gone. So now we wonder, the blow up, TK, does it happen? And there's really two ways to go with this. Is it going to be Damian Lillard going to them saying, okay, I'm done here, try and move me? Or is it keeping him still, of course, happy, keep him in a Blazers uniform and trying to trade basically everybody else, be it Nurk, be it Covington, or the hot name that we talked about on Friday's Drop podcast, CJ McCollum. So, just when we thought it was bad, it gets even worse for the Blazers here. What's the move, Trey, if you are the new GM of this squad, the interim GM?
Well, you got to subscribe to theathletic.com/nodunks because there are a lot of great pieces about the end of the Portland Trail Blazers and the end of Neil O'Shea's time here. So many, in fact, that I'm flipping through the various different ones and trying to remember which one that guarantees a rebuild is coming because they absolutely need it. It seems unlikely to me that the first move that the new interim GM would make would be to trade the franchise cornerstone, the face of the franchise, and Damian Lillard. My guess is that you would try everything else before you try that. But obviously, as we learned in the profile from Shams Charania and Sam Amick today, Lillard ain't happy. And you can tell that I don't know if that's the reason that he's sitting out with this abdomen injury that he's had for years and hasn't sat out with before, except for a game here and there. But the team is clearly broken. There was no defensive intensity against the Celtics. And as we saw today, Lillard has apparently said that he would like to play with Ben Simmons. So to me, that is the trade that has made sense since the season ended last year. CJ McCollum for Ben Simmons. Like Lillard, sure, the Sixers would love to get Damian Lillard, but so would the Blazers. They would love to keep Damian Lillard. And I think you're going to try Lillard and Simmons more so before trading Lillard away. So I don't know. I think McCollum is going to be traded. I wouldn't be surprised if Nurkic is traded as well. You just got to try something different because what's going on in Portland right now is not happening. Chauncey Billups is calling him out after every single game, which is not a great look in the first 25 games to be calling out the team 5 or 6 different times. They're not going to listen. It already looks like they're not listening. Basically, he said, our starters are shitty. Our bench plays hard. And I've never seen that before. So a lot of changes are coming in Portland. And my guess is that we'll hear about a CJ McCollum trade in maybe 9 days once you can get all these different players into deals.
Yeah, Leigh, what do you think? If you're the Blazers, and again, a part of it has to do with what really Lillard is telling them. Because it's like, I look at it like this whole rebuild thing. They have to do something because this team is garbage. And, they can't stop anybody. So changes have to be made. But is it like you found the house and do you like just tear it all down? You just bulldoze it and we're going to rebuild again there on the property. We like where it's located. And that would be, I think, moving off of Damian Lillard when you're just knocking down the whole damn thing. Or is it, strip it down to its bare bones, but it's got good bones, good foundation. Walls are okay, but we're going to redo this whole thing. And that would be keeping Lillard and getting rid of really everybody else, like your main guys, like at least CJ, Nurk, and probably Covington if you can. Like which route are you going?
Well, they've got very tradable assets, so they can get plenty in return. They can get good players, they can get draft picks if they want, because if Lillard becomes available, the price will be pretty high. Teams will try to get him. CJ has been a model professional throughout his career, reliable, consistent scorer, but I also feel his time is probably done there in Portland. And I think, again, a guy who can go out and get you 20 points as easily as McCollum can, teams will want that. Teams want that scorer there out there. So they get him. And Nurkic hasn't had his best season. He's a big guy, but he can certainly fill a hole. And if you're even a team like the Charlotte Hornets, just theoretically speaking, could use a presence like him there because they're very, very thin in the middle. So I think they can get plenty in return if they decide this season's done and we need to move on. So that would be the first step. But I agree with what Trey's saying. You don't trade Lillard first. I think you see what else you can get there first. And then when it gets to that point, a bit like it was with Harden there in Houston, once they sort of moved away from Westbrook, it was like, okay, we may as well trade you now because you need to be in win now and we're not in that mode. So I think that's probably what is going to happen first. You see what Nurkic can get you. You see what McCollum can get you. Mm-hmm. And then you say to Dame, okay, do you want to still be a part of this? Do you still want to, show your loyalty to the franchise? Because we don't mind if you now decide to move on. It's an ugly situation, though, there, because this game on Saturday night was more than just a defeat. This was humiliation, utter humiliation in that fourth quarter. Peyton Pritchard, I think he hit 3 or 4 in that fourth quarter when the game was well and truly over. And then on the last possession, he got another 3 chances because they were just getting the ball back. The bench was going so crazy on the side that Ime Udoka actually apologized to Chauncey Billups and said, okay, I'm sorry, that was a little bit too much. And, again, we talk about the unwritten rules and stuff like that. And this was just Portland being so humiliated as well. Damian Lillard got up and walked up the sidelines as if to say, all right, someone foul, someone do something, stop this, because this is just beyond embarrassment. So, at that point that this team needs to change. Something needs to happen. And Chauncey Billups, I'm actually on his side in this sense where he's like, if you're not motivated to go out there and stop that humiliation, there's not much a coach can do. The coach doesn't need to call a timeout and say, guys, they're embarrassing you out there. The players need to have that pride. Kevin Calabro and Lamar Hurd also talked about that on the broadcast. Like, you've got some personal pride here. Like, I'm not saying you go out and belt Peyton Pritchard, but don't let that team just humiliate you like that on your own floor when things are going badly. So this is obviously a lost season, I think, for Portland. I don't think they can really turn it around. Maybe they can hang on, of course, to the play-in, but as far as their long-term future, they need to start fresh, I think. And speaking of Bones, his name was even rumored as a potential candidate to come on as the GM there for
I did see that.
for Portland. Brent Barry, our friend, and So Saturday night I think was the final. Like, okay, this is beyond embarrassment, guys. We need to make some changes here.
Yeah, Heidi pointing out, I've seen this mentioned a couple of times here in the stream team. Now that Neil O'Shea is gone, it's much more likely that CJ McCollum is traded. Drafting CJ was his crowning achievement. There had been a lot of talk about he didn't want to move off him because, hey, that was the guy that he found. That was the needle in the haystack that he found in the draft. And he's like, it was going to be tough for him to ever move on. So we'll see if, either the interim, what's his guy's name? Joe Cronin? Is that it?
Joe Cronin.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Interim GM right now, or whoever eventually comes in, takes over that squad. If they'll move off CJ, I'm with you guys. I think it's going to be, let's try and move a McCollum. I mean, look, the Blazers should go get Ben Simmons. Now, I don't think 3 first-round picks and 3 swaps on picks. I don't think they should go that far. I think it's going to take picks, of course, included with CJ McCollum, to get the Blazers to eventually, to get the Sixers to eventually do it. But that I would love to see try that backcourt, Lillard and Simmons. And the first step, you said it, Trey, or you were tweeting about it, is rumors, at least reports that Lillard is intrigued by that. Hey, I would like to play alongside him. Let's do that. So maybe it happens in 10 days or up until the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, this trade has been rumored since the Olympics. Surely Damian Lillard back then was like, I would love to play with Ben Simmons. It's a new look for the team. It brings you a little defense. Maybe you play a little faster. Maybe Ben Simmons gets Damian Lillard easier looks. Like, McCollum is a good scorer. He can give you 20 a game. Like the people in the stream team were saying, 20 a game for 5 straight seasons. But that's it. That's literally all you're ever getting from McCollum. Maybe he'll give you 2 assists. He's not making things easier for Lillard, I don't think so. I don't know. I would at least like to see a perimeter trio of Lillard, Powell, and Simmons. It seems like they would be a better defensive team and a little bit tougher team as well.
All right, so the Blazers get an obvious loser of the NBA weekend, and I think we're going to be talking about the Portland Trail Blazers a whole lot more here over the next couple of weeks as we wrap up 2021 and then get closer to the trade deadline. Leigh, let's go to you next, though. Who do you have? Who's on your list for loser of the NBA?
Well, my team is thankful that the Portland Trail Blazers had such a disaster because it kind of swept under the rug a little bit the bad weekend for the New York Knicks. Only one game, but that too was actually a complete disaster, a home loss, another pounding by the Knicks against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. This time came against the Denver Nuggets. This one they were down by 30 points at one point in this game. And honestly, it was probably even worse than that. The defense of the Knicks, non-existent. Denver shot 20 for 43 from 3-point range. And this really is unlocking a disturbing pattern that's starting to unfold here for the Knicks, and they are getting torched by big men on the perimeter. Jokic on Saturday had 32 points, only 3 threes, but most of those wide open. Zeke Naji, 5 threes, career high 21 points. And if you look back at that game, Mike Breen saying on the broadcast early on, Naji wide open again, and this is in the first half. The Knicks just not defending the perimeter at all. And remember against the Bulls on Thursday night, Vooch had 5 threes in his 27 points. A lot of those kind of just pick and pop. Mitchell Robinson. Now, the defensive assignment from Thibs is, I guess, to pack the paint. But if you're giving guys wide open looks, they're hitting them right now. Miles Turner a few weeks ago hit 7 against the New York Knicks. So we know that Thibs really does hang his hat on the defensive end. Last season, the Knicks had the 4th best defense. Right now, it is 23rd. And you just have to wonder what the next move is here from him because, he's benched Kemba Walker and nothing has changed. That starting lineup is still a problem here for the Knicks. They're getting off to bad starts. So what move is he going to make here? But then there are these other problems. The Knicks at home are I think there's way too much pressure on that team. They look so tight. I've mentioned this earlier in the season as well. It feels like if they don't score on 2 or 3 possessions in the first half or first quarter, it feels like they're just digging themselves a huge hole. And that was the case on Saturday against the Nuggets. So
what do you want, Madison Square Garden? Knicks fans just not to show up. Just don't come to the game.
I don't know. But, again, the expectations and the hype from that early, they were 5-1 at one point, the Knicks. And it was like, wow, okay, maybe this is a second season surge here. But right now they've collapsed. I think they've gone 6-11 since then and fallen in a hole. And again, after the game, you got to play defense. Our starters got to get the things together. It's like Chauncey Billups is saying the same thing about his Blazers. Tibbs is saying the same thing about his own team right now. They weren't really even close in this, and there's some problems there for the Mitchell Robinson. I thought he was going to have a big impact on this team because they need his presence at both ends of the floor. His conditioning, to me, is the biggest problem right now. So that might be just a time thing. You just got to work your way back in. He had a foot problem, of course, coming into the season, but he's getting dragged a lot on those. Again, guys sort of penetrating. He's going with that guy and just leaving someone on the perimeter, and they're getting wide open looks. So that is a bit of a concern here for the Knicks.
Yeah, Knicks 11-12, TK, after, like Leigh said, that hot start. We were all convinced, wow, this is a carryover from last year. And they're struggling right now. And I'm convinced like a guy like Tibbs, he'd almost be happier if they were like 4-16, but they had a top 5 defense than being, basically a 500 team with a defense in the lower third of the league. I'm sure that keeps them up at night.
Oh, absolutely. The Knicks traded defense for offense in the offseason, thinking if we just take a little bit of a step forward, we won't take that much of a step back. But unfortunately, they've taken a huge step back, and they're playing from behind every single game, it feels like, with their starters just not being able to get stops. So the offense isn't good enough to make up for the starters' slow starts. It's very tough to see how the Knicks improve. I think Julius Randle can be a little bit better. He doesn't seem completely engaged defensively. He was awesome last year. I don't think they're taking away driving lanes. And like you're saying, Leigh, Jokic was just incredible last night. He was hitting the threes, but he was also 8 of 9 inside. Like, Mitchell Robinson's big, Nerlens Noel is big, but they ain't Jokic. He's just a special player. So I give him a little bit of a pass there, but the Zeke Najee, that one's a problem. 5 threes from a guy just out of nowhere. You're going to lose a bunch of games, and I no longer think that Kevin Durant regrets not coming to the Knicks.
Yeah, possibly not. I don't know if you have the team stats in front of you, Leigh, but I remember a storyline last year with the Knicks, and their like top 5 defense was, well, yeah, they're good, but teams for whatever reason can't hit open threes against them. Remember there was that whole narrative, like they just had like, for whatever reason, teams just like were struggling at 3-point shooting, and the number guys were like, that's going to come back to more normal numbers where teams are going to hit them at a more normal percentage from distance. It's not really anything the Knicks are doing because these guys are wide open. Has that ticked back up? You mean you brought up the Nuggets game as a great example. Where are we at? You got it?
Well, they're sort of mid-table as far as 3-point percentage, about 35%. But, those percentages can sometimes be very, very slim. As far as three-pointers made, yeah, they're 25th in the league at 13.5 being made per game. But then again, OKC at 14.3 is the worst in the league. So it's not huge. But again, I think numbers get skewed when this game was, again, largely over in the first half. I think Jokic didn't even play the fourth quarter. But any NBA player, if you just continue to give them open looks, and I was watching back here this morning at their 3-pointers made, and it was like, wow, they there was no adjustment at any point. And I think that's the concern here, that Tibbs is not like, okay, we've seen a little bit of this in the first half, so let's now switch it up a little bit. And Trey mentions like Nikola Jokic, he's in the paint, he can score against anyone anyway, but you still just can't give up uncontested threes. That's the real problem here, because a guy like Zeke Najee comes in and he burned them, and they can't afford to lose that. And again, this is the Nuggets team, remember, they're very short-handed, missing their second and third best player, and really had a very, very comfortable wire-to-wire win.
All right, TK, who do you have for a loser of the weekend?
Ugly weekend for the Hawks. They lost on Friday to the 76ers in dramatic fashion. Up 5 with 3:38 left. Hawks didn't score the rest of the game. Ended up with 9 points in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, in the last 3:38, Seth Curry hit a 3. Joel Embiid hit a couple of really clutch jumpers for the winner. Major perimeter problems for the Hawks in this one. Seth Curry and Tyrese Maxey combined for 29 points and on 11 of 24 shooting. Nice. Kevin Huerter and Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot went for 12 points on 4 of 11 shooting, but that's really just Kevin Huerter's stats because it was a goose egg for TLC. Not great, but the Sixers, probably better than the Hawks, all things considered, so that's fine. The worst loss, though, yesterday, Sunday, against the Hornets. No LaMelo Ball, no Terry Rozier, no Mason Plumlee due to COVID protocols. 0 defense from the Atlanta Hawks in this one. They gave up 130 to the Hornets. 6 players in double digits for Charlotte. Miles Bridges had 32. Kelly Oubre had 28. I will say the Hornets are maybe the best team in the league at getting you to play their style. Like, nobody wants to play defense against the Hornets because they're just running around like crazy, but this was bad stuff from the Hawks. It was like one pump fake, one pass, wide open 3. I don't know if I'm totally right on this, but I was deep in the NBA.com tracking data. And according to their tracking data, 1 3-point attempt for the Hornets was either tight or closely guarded. Everything else was open or wide open, and it felt like that. Like, these were not even contested shots. So obviously the Hornets shot a nice percentage. The Hawks, meanwhile, are now down to 26th on defense, and that to me is why they haven't been consistent this season. They've had a lot of players coming in and out of the lineup, but they have a lot of depth. They have a lot of guys who played playoff minutes for them last year. Nobody is giving it any sort of effort defensively, though, and that was clear against the Hornets. A depressing sort of loss for Atlanta. Both of them were bad. Like, when your offense dries up in one game and then your defense doesn't show up in the next game, it's like, what are we supposed to be good at here?
Yeah.
So bad stuff for the Hawks.
Yeah, it could get worse too. They got a weird schedule because they played here in Atlanta, and that was like a 6:00 start, if I remember correctly, on yesterday on Sunday, and they play tonight in Minnesota. So a bit of obviously a flight there in a back-to-back situation against a team in the Wolves that is playing with some energy, even in some of their defeats. So we'll see if the Hawks can bounce back tonight, Leigh. But yeah, this is like the Knicks. I mean, expectations were high with these two teams.
Yeah.
And, they win a playoff series, they win a couple playoff series in the Hawks case. And here they are, 500 or under. That's not, the expectations are like, you got to be better than that.
And you look at the box score from yesterday. John Collins, 31-12. Capella, 8-14. Kevin Huerta with 28.7 threes. And then Trey Young had 25 and 15. And Gallinari had 17 off the bench. You think, the Hawks must have won that game comfortably. And they lose to a team missing its best player and one of its impact scorers there in Terry Rozier. But yeah, Miles Bridges yesterday had no trouble scoring, getting his shots off. And this was a bad loss here for the Hawks because they needed to get this. Okay, Friday night, they lose Joel Embiid. You can deal with that one, but you have to take advantage of teams like the Hornets, and the Hawks could not do that last night. And this is one that, Nate McMillan's going to have to look at and think, offensively, we've got plenty of guys who can get it done, but it means nothing if at the other end, the other team is also just scoring easily.
Yeah, it's really weird to look at the Eastern Conference standings right now once you get past, the 4th or 5th seed there, because you have the Celtics in the 8th slot tied with the Cavs at 13 and 11. Then the Sixers, who are 12 and 11. Then the Hawks, who are 500. Then the Knicks at the 11th spot right now at 11 and 12. Then the Raptors, who got a couple nice wins over the last couple of days. They're sort of back in the mix here. And then the Pacers, who are 9-16 and who are also on a lot of people's short list as teams who should be looking to make a move and, either separate Sabonis and Miles Turner or move off some other guys as well. I'm just hoping we're going to get a lot of activity here. I'm getting my hopes up as we now hit that December 15th date where a bunch of guys can be included in trades and we get closer to the deadlines. Like, it feels like there's so many teams that could be trading, a key player, a borderline or if not all-star type player, right? But maybe I'm just getting my hopes up. I'm just going to be crushed.
Well, whatever happens here, we need a camera 24/7 on JD for when we hit him with the old emergency podcast.
Oh, yeah,
JD.
on the old Slack channel.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with that. Oh, JD's going to be off a little bit for the holiday season, too. Definitely getting a trade over that break. Sorry, JD. In advance. You're going to have to take all your equipment home, JD. Sorry. That's the rule.
We'll see. No. I think I'm going to get Schlecht on the case over here. And
the Schlecht emergency call. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, I'm with you, Leigh. I think we're going to have an emergency podcast or two. I got one more loser of the weekend. Sorry, Leigh, I got to do it to you. Leigh Ellis, loser of the weekend, showing up 40 minutes late to our No Dunks Christmas dinner on Friday night. What gives? 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're the one that lives the closest to the restaurant.
I think that was karma. I was celebrating when I saw the restaurant. I thought, oh, sweet, that's just up the road from my place. I'll maybe be first one there. But look, a little combination of events happened. Babysitter was there. We were ready to go. Mm-hmm. Then my youngest gets a little bit of separation anxiety. Mm-hmm. So I had to give him an extra couple of minutes of snuggles and cuddles. And just as we sort of got past the point where he was too emotional, he came with a big hug, had the big, cheesy, greasy pizza hand and slapped it on my shoulder there.
And your nice dress shirt you had on?
Yeah, I reacted in a way that I didn't enjoy. I was just, I was just like, Oscar. And then he got upset again, and I felt like an asshole. And I'm like, I know it's not that big a deal. I went inside. I'm like, I'm going to have to get a new shirt. Then I'm like, what the hell? It's a little bit of pizza. Everyone knows what it's like sometimes. This is not like
Italian. Yeah.
This is not the NBA on TNT Awards. And anyway, so then I drove up. I knew the restaurant. I know where it is. And I was like, I actually know a couple of sneaky parking spots around there. So I know the area. I'll be fine. Get there. Oh, you can't park anywhere. It's like the tow away zones everywhere you go. So I was driving around doing a few loops. So by the time I got there, you guys were onto the third course of the meal already. And I was, I was.
Oh, they had the dishes flying out.
Yeah, that wasn't our doing. Yeah. We were not saying bring more food quickly because our one friend is. They were rushing us, man.
But even in the car ride, it's not like you can't just sort of sever that cord of emotion as well. It takes a little bit of time just to sort of
you and Roxy came in frazzled.
I've got to put that to the side and then bring in the it's great to see everyone again. We haven't had a moment like that, and at least I think there was actually a huge moment happened on that dinner, and it was kind of like when Obi-Wan Kenobi sort of conceded defeat and Darth Vader chopped his head off. JD let me choose the wine.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, wow, what a moment that was in my life. I was like, can I handle this? Am I ready for this responsibility especially on a night like tonight? But
well, let's ask JD. How did he do?
Oh, he did great. He did great. I did have a couple of notes going in, though. Nothing sweet, because he does have a tendency to order a Moscato and that kind of thing.
Right.
So, yeah. And no Shiraz. Shiraz is garbage. So that was it. And he killed it. And luckily, I don't think there was any of that, either of those on the menu anyways. It was all Italian wines. And you were like, I think that's when you sort of realized, you're way out of your depth, because you're like, it's all Italian. And I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean,
you killed it, Leigh. I loved it.
I thought it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, an Italian restaurant, you think it's going to feature mostly Italian wines. I was surprised I didn't see any, nothing, not a French, not an Argentinian, not a Spanish, nothing. But, yeah, it was great. It was
Tass
great.
literally said, after you had said that, it's all Italian wine. I thought Tass that's a Spanish bottle right there.
Well, I didn't see that. There was a lot to choose from. So, yes. Yeah. It was, it was a good end to the night anyway. I came home and it was fine, but
good.
Yeah. Just a little bit, like I say, I was celebrating too early. It's like, restaurant, we'll be there. I know where to park. Don't worry, we'll get there in no time.
Write the story while the reservation's in the air, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, it was like bizarro night at that restaurant. Tass was there first. We were late for Tass. That was weird. And then Leigh, who's usually very prompt, was coming in late. Oh, okay. Anyway, a fun time was had by all there on Friday night. All right, we got to take one more break. When we come back, we got tweet of the night, which is a great one, and picking results from Friday night and tonight's picks. But guys, if you have ever wanted to make your home feel safer, there is no better time than now. Right now, this week, our friends at Simply Safe are giving No Dunks listeners early access to all their holiday deals. 40% off their award-winning home security. We love Simply Safe because it has everything you need to make your home safe. Indoor and outdoor cameras, comprehensive sensors, all monitored around the clock by trained professionals who send help the instant you need it. Now, over the Thanksgiving weekend break, my neighbor was going to be out of town. She's got a couple cats. She said, do you mind, popping in, feeding the cats, make sure they're not knocking things over? I said, yeah, no problem. Anything you got to walk me through, obviously where the food is and all that, but show me your security system. Well, my goodness, this thing must be from 1965, 1970. It's so dated, my neighbor's security system. I'm just looking at it the entire time going, you need Simply Safe. That's all you need. She's trying to press the buttons. It's this weird screen. She keeps putting them in wrong. She may as well had just cans tied to her front door as the security system, because I'm convinced this thing didn't even work. So Simply Safe, I'm thinking about maybe talking to them. Maybe I could get a nice little deal here, even a little bit better than the 40%. Be a nice Christmas gift to give to your neighbors. So that's in play here, because there are no long-term contracts or commitments when it comes to Simply Safe. It's a really easy way to start feeling a bit more peace of mind. And again, if you have a neighbor, if you have a family member that's going to pop in while you're gone, have Simply Safe so it's easy, because it's simple for everyone to figure out, unlike these antiquated old security systems that some people still have. So take advantage of Simply Safe's holiday deals and get 40% off your new home security system by visiting simplysafe.com/nodunks. All one word there, no dunks. Again, that's simplysafe.com/nodunks for 40% off your entire system.
Today is December 6th, which means we have 18 more days. Yes, more than 2 weeks still to do all your Christmas shopping. 2+ weeks, people, is a lot of notice. Now, if you're like me, at around this time of year, this is when I say to myself, relax, 2 weeks, you got plenty of time. But don't actually do anything until about 9 p.m. on Christmas Eve, when I'm like, oh, I should have done something. But thanks to American Giant, you can find a present that is versatile, comfortable, and cozy for someone you love, or even just that gift from you to you, and one that you can wear almost anywhere and that is a classic full zip hoodie from American Giant. I've become a hoodie wearer a lot over the last couple of years, so I think I'm a bit of a veteran in the game, and I know what I like for my hoodie to stay in the rotation. It's got to be soft, and that softness has to stay even if it's been washed a few times. An American Giant uses heavyweight cotton that is made to last decades. Yes, decades, people. So in 30 years' time, when we're still doing this show, I'm going to be still wearing my same American Giant sweater because that's just how reliable it is. And it's even great right now, especially in these Atlanta mornings. It's very cool at first. Perfect hoodie weather for morning drop-off. You don't need that big, thick winter jacket and gloves and beanie and all that stuff. You just need something that keeps you nice and, keeps the coolness out. Now, it's warmer in the afternoon, but then it gets cooler again in the evening. So if you want to go outside for a walk or you're outside just playing with the boys, hoodie back on.
Yep.
And when you buy from American Giant, you can feel good in your clothes and feel great about supporting local manufacturers, workers, and communities. From material sourcing to manufacturing, everything is done locally right here in the US. Explore American Giant's collection of durable essentials at american-giant.com, and you get 20% off when you use code NODUNKS at checkout. That's 20% off at american-giant.com, promo code NODUNKS.
Have you ever had a pizza hand slapped on your American Giant hoodie?
Not the American Giant one, but yes, other hoodies for sure. It's just like the moth to the flame. If you wear a nice something and you're like, I don't want this to be spoiled, one of your kids is just virtually going to come up and slap it. Doesn't have to be pizza hand. It's just dirty hand, grubby hand. It's like, thanks, great. Now I can go out.
Brad here in the stream team saying, interesting information on how weather works there from Leigh and that.
Starts out cold,
gets
warmer, goes back to cold.
Yeah.
Hey, just back with to me watching the cats too. She had 2 cats. When I would go in, and I'd go in once or twice a day, feed them in the morning and sometimes feed them at night, but I never saw the other cat.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I was like, the cat's here, right? But I'm
check the litter box, buddy.
I'm always seeing the one cat. Okay, there's Minnie. I see Minnie. Raymond, nowhere to be found. I don't know if Raymond is still here. So I texted her. I was like, I assume the cat's still here. It's not. I just wanted to I had to let her know this isn't on me. Okay, the cat is I'm trying to find the cat. I can't find the cat. But just so you know, if you come back and that cat's not there, I warned you. But I guess Raymond was there as soon as I came home. Cats are weird though, man.
Oh,
cats are weird.
The weirdest.
I had a cat stop by to watch the Formula One race yesterday.
Oh, did you?
I decided, Laura, today I'm hanging out in the garage all day and watching Formula One. We got a nice neighborhood cat around. We call it Muffin. So everybody was inside after we hung up the lights on the house. Muffin stopped on by to see the podium celebrations. So I don't know who this cat belongs to, but I love a neighborhood cat that'll just stop by the paddock, say hello.
Do you think that cat was upset you weren't watching the Indy 500 where they drink milk to celebrate?
Yeah, that cat was pissed.
All right, let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Twitter.
Oh, I think we got a great tweet of the night here. It comes by way of our good friend at William_Lou. He tweeted, Precious Achiuwa discovering bag milk is so funny, and then included the clip. So let's have a watch.
Yo. This is funny. That's what you... So how do you do it? Do you drop the bag inside? Oh, snap. It doesn't fully go in?
Hold up and you're bang on the counter a few times.
Really? It's not gonna break? I feel like it's gonna break. How do I open the bag? A scissors or something?
So there's in your fridge, there's a milk bag cutter?
Nah! That's a... I didn't even see that. Who put this here? This is like sophisticated cutters, you know? Yo. So what do you do with these ones? You just wrap them back up like bread? Oh, this is about to be some type of rocket science. Bro. Yeah.
So there it is. Precious Achiuwa trying to figure out Canadians and their bagged milk and the process that you have to go through. Like, got to have the container TK and the little cutter. You can just use scissors. You don't have to use that little slicer.
Never had
thing.
a cutter.
Yeah. And then my favorite part, I think, of that whole clip, him going, well, what do I do with these other bags? And it's like bread. I got to wrap them up. Here's a little tip for you, Precious, and anybody that finds their way up into Canada with the bagged milk. Take that bag, spin it. Just spin it like crazy. And then
The extra bag, you mean?
Yeah, the extra bag. Yeah, the
Okay.
extra bag. And then spin it, and then it makes it a lot easier to put that dumb little plastic clip on it to close it. But Trey, were you like Precious the first time you made your way up into Toronto and you were like, what? Bagged milk? This is an actual thing?
Yeah, I definitely came around to bagged milk by the time we left, but the start is very precarious because, as he was saying with that first pour, the way the bag sticks over the top of the container, too floppy, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, why do they make the bags taller than the container? Because once you get past, like, once your milk level is lower than the top of the plastic, easy. You're smooth sailing milk-wise there. But that first one, you're thinking you're going to pour it all over the table.
Yeah,
Or
you have to do this
whatever.
this slick little move, Leigh, I remember doing where like you hold the handle and you sort of grab the back of the bag with your two fingers to sort of like, so like Trey's saying, it doesn't all like topple out because it is a little top heavy. Take some practice though.
Oh yeah, and you spill so much of it at the start while you're figuring it all out, and you are like, "What the hell? What do they do this for in Canada? Why don't they just do normal milk?" But then you do figure it out. You're like, "Okay, it's fine," but there's a lot of that gross, smelly milk spill that you have to clean up at the start. That questions whether or not you need to have it that way. But once you get used to it, it's fine. But it's also, like saying when he's putting it into the thing, it's like it feels like this is just a little bit too big, the bag, and this is a little bit too small.
Yeah.
Like you would think they would maybe have figured something out, but obviously once you open it and pour some out, then it does slot in there nicely. But
Right.
yeah.
You also let a little air out of the bag, of course, once you slice it there, so it goes sucks down better. JD, are you pumped to go home to Canada here in a couple of weeks to drink some bagged milk? Or do you hate it?
Wait.
Oh, okay.
I love bagged milk because, it's cool for one thing, and it's way better on the environment, like way better than jugs and cartons, like significantly from production to transportation to even getting rid of them and recycling them and stuff. So, but only 7% of Canadians use the bagged milk.
Wow.
And I think Precious I think he had a legit point. He's like, what do I do with the rest of this milk? Like, and I think that's part of the problem, right? Like it's, they only sell it in 4-liter batches, right? So they have to start selling it single bags at the grocery store. That's what I'm advocating, which they do in Europe.
Okay.
Like 1 liter. Yeah.
One bag is 1 liter, right? And they
right.
come in 4. You get 4 there, and they get shipped in crates. If I remember from working in a convenience store, like those plastic milk crates. Yeah. People are just showing up to the stream team wondering what the hell is going on and why we're talking about milk for so much. Yeah, bagged milk. It is a thing in parts of Canada, like JD said.
Not out west, I don't think.
Yeah,
but
so there you go.
Cool story, bro.
Very, very cool story. Very funny clip there by way of @WilliamLou, Precious Achiuwa, figuring out bagged milk. Great stuff. Okay, pick 'em results from Friday night. Suns Warriors game. Warriors were favored by 6.5. We talked about it on Friday's show. We're like, wow, it's a pretty big line for the Warriors to be favored by that much at home after losing to the Suns earlier in the week, and the Suns on an 18-game win streak. But Vegas knows what they're doing. Oh my goodness. And so they got the victory. The Warriors did. This, of course, brought to you by BetMGM. So that's a loss for me. That's a loss for Leigh. That's a win for Trey. He's 3-0. Tass goes to 2-1. Tonight's game, guys, OKC at Detroit. Oh, yeah. We're talking Thunder Pistons here. This was Tass's doing in picking this game. So let's see who everybody's going with. We got one guy, TK, going with the Thunder, trying to bounce back from that 73-point loss last week, right? They haven't played since then.
No, they haven't.
Yeah.
They
said
really
we're
weird.
going to regroup and get back at it Monday. It's
Yeah.
Monday. Let's
Okay.
go Thunder.
So there you go. Trey's taking the Thunder to keep it close enough. Everybody else is taking the Pistons to win by 5 or more points. Good luck. Good luck to you. Email your NBA questions to nodunks@theathletic.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok @NoDunksInc. Grab yourself an Athletic subscription so you can read all these great articles about the Blazers blowing it up from Quick and Shams and Sam Amick. Theathletic.com/NoDunks for that subscription so they know that we sent you. We'll be back
A new
tomorrow.
one dropped while we were recording, Skeets. John Hollinger has
my
a
goodness.
Portland Trail Blazers breakdown as well. So, yeah, get your subscriptions up, y'all.
All right. Go to
Unless you're a Blazers
theathletic.com/NoDunks.
fan, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. We're back tomorrow morning. Lots of games on tonight, so we'll be breaking down as many of those as possible live at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then on Tuesday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern, here on No Dunks, we got a brand new No Breaks F1 podcast with TK and Graydon. So lots coming at you tomorrow. Shout out to the stream team for joining us live here. Shout out to the pod squad for listening later. We love all of y'all. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, as Ryan says, Skeets is not a cat guy, but everybody loves Raymond.
Embrace the day, people.
You could stay, ooh, every day.